Now, moving forward to my next question, that is really interesting. I have seen many people have a lot of skills, talent, okay, good mindset also. They really have growth mindset. But what happens is they fall short of energy levels. At the end of the day or even during the day, they cannot operate on their full levels of physical energy as well as mental energy. But when I observe high performance, okay, whenever I observe high performing people, I really wonder how they get these energy levels. And this is what separates them from the ordinary people. So I would like to know, and even I think audience would like to know from you, what exactly helps us high performance to keep their energy levels very high.
Fantastic question, and there are some very simple approaches that we can all take that sound simple, but they end up being really challenging, particularly in this connected world that we have, where there are so many distractions that take us away from what it is that is most important, the most important thing that we should be doing right now. And so, first of all, you want to think about distractions as the enemy, and you want to be a ninja, become a ninja at distraction removal. And so just thinking about that in that terms, first of all, when distractions come into our lives, they can really, they can alter the flow of our day in such a way that drains a lot of energy from us. Each one of us only has a limited amount of mental stamina, which is, some people say, well, my most valuable resource is time. Well, actually, your most valuable resource is your mental stamina, and how much you have when it's at its peak, and whether or not you are doing the things during that period of time when your mental stamina is highest that require the deepest thinking that you need. And so high performers have become really good at focusing. I should say, high performers have a deep desire to continually improve their focus. Because focus is one of those things where, again, no matter how successful you are, that there's still upside potential. And that's the beautiful thing about this whole process, is there's no end to it. There's no end to the improvement that you can achieve. And that's at once a bit intimidating, because, oh, I'm never going to reach my goal. No, that's not it. Your goal is, what are you doing right now in the present? Forgiving yourself from the past, not generating anxiety about the future, but what are you doing right this minute? And sometimes we recognize, oh, sorry, I'm watching dog and cat videos on YouTube right this minute. And so sometimes we fall off of that wagon. It's inevitable. We are human. We are distracted. But being conscious of it and working every day to try to minimize those distractions, that is one of the best things you can do to maximize your energy, because each distraction takes you away from what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And each distraction forces you to change what you're thinking about. And then to get back to that most important thing, that takes a little bit of time and effort. And each one of those things it's a drain on your mental stamina. Your brain is burning calories like crazy all the time. And how you use that, the 5 pounds of gray matter in your head will dictate how you feel physically throughout the day and what kind of energy levels that you have. So high performers have become very, very good and recognize that it's important to be very good at focusing. And there are a number of ways that you can do that. One of the more popular ways is something called the Pomodoro Technique. And it's similar to what I do, the Pomodoro Technique, it requires you to focus on one thing and one thing only in 30-minute blocks. And when that 30 minutes are done, then it's an opportunity for you to recharge and re-energize. And there are a number of ways to do that. Hydration is number one. That's one of the most important things that you can do, is to grab a glass of water, rehydrate as often as you can throughout the day. That's critical in being able to maintain high energy levels and good health. And so I personally, what I do is I work off of 50-minute time blocks. And if I can get 3 to 4 focused time blocks in one day, that is a killer day for me. That is a day that my achievement, my productivity is huge. And so if you were one way to improve how you perform on a daily basis is to track things. If you're not measuring it, then you can't control it. And if you want to maximize energy levels, you want to focus as much as you can. In order to focus as much as you can, you want to have as many uninterrupted blocks of focused effort in your day as you can. And so at the end of the day, when you reflect, say, how many focused blocks did I have of working on one thing and one thing only, shutting off everything else? I'm not going to check emails. The only way I'm going to be distracted is if my boss comes up behind me and taps me on the shoulder and says, you got to look at this right away. As long as she doesn't come behind me and say that, well, I'm going to be completely, totally focused on just one thing. And then how many of those blocks did you have in the day, and how can you increase the number of those types of blocks? In the corporate world today, there's just so many meetings, so many emails. It's a huge, huge challenge and a huge, huge problem. So being able to nurture your mental stamina is absolutely critical.